All right, guys, welcome in. It is Thursday morning. Time for Total Bases, your one-stop shop for Major League Baseball free picks on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. We're still without our third man, Bryan Leonard, but that's all right. I hope he's having a great week on vacation. He'll be back with us on Monday. For the rest of the week, it's myself and Mr. Tokyo Brandon. So welcome in, TB. How you doing this morning? How'd KBO go for you this morning, if you played anything?
Pretty good. We were on the same thing. I checked your plays. We're on the same thing. We were both on LG and we cashed, which was nice.
Yeah,
I actually had a play in Japanese baseball. I had an under, first 5 under for the Nippon Ham Fighters, Otani, and Darvish's old team, and that one as well. So I went smaller than you. You always go 4% on everything. I was a little smaller, but still a win's a win.
Yeah, I'll do some 3% here and there. It's more or less just trying to keep things uniform. I feel like we do end up on the same side in KBO a lot. And I also, I think if you look at a lot of the KBO handicappers that are like, which is not many, that are tuned in, you end up on kind of the same side because there's only like every day, there's only really like one maybe clear spot. Like if you follow the league, everyone kind of ends up like, you know, on the, I think today, Alicia Hernandez, LG Twins, you know, coming off of like a day where NC used a lot of their bullpen, that was kind of like, I see how we both ended up there. So,
yeah. And LG, anytime you can get LG for -110, it's like you have to take them, even if they're starting, you know, a college kid, you got to take them. They're so good. So, and they were 110 when I got them. It was like auto.
Myself as well, and they weren't starting a young kid. They had Alicia Hernandez, who coming into the season, I think we both thought would be one of the best pitchers in the league. So that was a nice win to start the day. So we're bringing some positive momentum in here. I know we didn't get the parlay yesterday. We're gonna try today, and again,
that was my fault.
No, that's all right, TB. You get to the 5th inning. I thought we were gonna get there. I saw the early couple runs. And then I really thought we were going to get there.
What did I say in the show yesterday? I said, I know we're going to be going into the 5th inning and Manny Machado is going to kill. It wasn't Manny Machado, but I had a feeling the 5th inning was going to be not good. So yeah, I wear the poo hat today because that was my fault that we didn't cash that yesterday.
Listen, we're going to keep trying. I think even with the little parlay losing streak still up like 9 or 10 units. I'll get an exact count when I tweet it out today. But we'll put together another 2-teamer today. And like I gave you a 4% winner with the Red Sox yesterday. So who knows? Maybe I'll feel generous. I haven't locked anything in yet for today.
And actually,
I will try to get something for free.
Props to you for that play because sorry to interrupt. Props to you on that play though, because I didn't actually agree with you. I liked the over, but I didn't really agree on Boston as a side. So good job for you there.
I think the over hit in the first inning. I'm pretty sure
it was like 17 runs. I think it was 9-7.
There was 9 runs in the first inning of that game. That was something else. All right, we're gonna get right into it. Wanted to give people a couple minutes to file in. Sean says greetings to everyone, but Hater Adam talked the Tigers up a little bit yesterday. Let's start there. Tigers White Sox. However, I want to point out that since Monday, when I went on this whole sort of like, you know, I laid out my whole thing with the Tigers where like this team's starting to get to the point where every day you're going to have to lay the 1.5 and on the other side, you can get +1.5 for like even money or so. So far, the Tigers' last 2 games haven't covered the +1.5. So they did win yesterday, but they did not cover. And I think that's really what the discussion is going to be when they play some of these lesser teams. So finale of a 4-game set. Tigers, White Sox, and you're in the same thing. You can get the White Sox +1.5 and plus money +105. How are you seeing this one, TV? Mize and today it's Burke, so they moved Burke back to today. It looks like.
Yeah, we're getting quite a few KBO comments here, like Gooey McDuck, man, Kiwoom on a heater. Kiwoom, they scored like 9 runs tonight or something. Yeah, they did have a good one. So maybe we'll have some time to talk about KBO today because Brian's gone. But let's talk about the Tigers. So yeah, your game was wild, the Red Sox. We'll talk about that game later. But we got Mize and Burke today, and I think I'm going to patent the phrase "chronic walker." Because Burke, if there's a chronic walker out today, I have pinpointed 2 chronic walkers that are starting today, and Burke is one of them. He's walking more than 3 guys. Or no, I'm sorry. He's walking about 4.4 per 9 innings. And the Tigers are walking almost 3 per 9 innings. And that comes out to like a 3.4 walks for him today, even if he only goes 5 innings. So I checked his prop earlier. It was over 2.5. So if it was over 1.5, I'd be smashing that like crazy. But it was 2.5, so I'm thinking about it. And the other chronic walker is Leader. So we might get to that game later on, and I'll break down my numbers for him today. I did put that play out, but let's talk about this one. Sorry, getting a little wordy here. I haven't slept well lately, and I'm like buzzed right now on a lack of sleep. So there's no fireball, but I'm just like I'm flighty right now. So I promise no hate rants today. I'll be nice today. So yeah, Sean Burke, not a good pitcher. Casey Mize, pretty good. I have him ranked on the curve of 30 at 9 right now. Bullpen's pretty even. They're both performing sub mediocre. Adam might be able to give you more insight to the actual arms who are available, but I have both bullpens performing sub mediocre right now. And I have both lineups hitting sub mediocre. I got the Tigers hitting 17 and I got the White Sox hitting 18. So to me, I see the only real advantage for the Tigers here is the pitcher. So what this will probably turn into is, like Adam alluded to, is going to be probably another tight 1-run Detroit win is how I'm kind of looking at this. I don't know what the score is going to be, but I'm probably not going to play it because to me, aside from starting pitcher, the categories are deadlocked as far as I can see. So that's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah. So I pretty much agree with all of that. I would say the one area where I would maybe lean toward the Tigers, even potentially covering the -1.5 today, is some of the bullpen usage for the White Sox. They get the win 2 nights ago. Last night, they're in a close game. And you did, Burke, I've compared the two. I think the other one is Smith. That's like, John Smith's like the probably the ace of this White Sox staff at this point. Burke is a little less economical. He will walk guys. He'll put guys on base. I think he's a little bit more prone to the big inning or giving up the big inning. And if you do that here, like I think if the White Sox were to give up the big inning, go behind here, you may see them like sort of use some of like the back end bullpen guys. So this is the type of game that I think could be 3-2 and then finish 9-2 or 9-3, right? Like,
really?
If they're behind, if the White Sox are behind, I wouldn't be surprised if the Tigers eventually break through for a big inning. And so that would put me off having any interest in backing White Sox in any capacity here. I still believe that you're not getting much line value. I don't think so I think right now -1.5 for the Tigers is -125. That's not exactly a price I care for. But this is a spot where I do think the Tigers probably win today, knowing that you're in the sort of, it's a day game and you've got some other stuff. Like, might not be the worst spot to say, hey, let me play Tigers money line parlayed with like another -200 money line if that's the way you want to go. But yeah, I actually kind of lean for the Tigers.
If I may jump in to add your point, teams do actually throw in the towel when they see that the game is out of reach because they want a chance tomorrow, so they want to save their arms. If they're down like 5-1 in the 6th inning, a lot of times they'll throw the towel in and they'll put their junk guys in and get the young guys some innings. So it does happen. So what you're saying is not, out of the realm of possibility for sure.
Yeah, and I think too, like it's just, you have to kind of look at the schedule, and there's times that it might happen more than others. Now, if the White Sox are in a game, like if they're in a tie game, if they feel like they have a chance to win a game, I think it's less likely to happen. But if they were behind a run or two, they've got a home series this weekend against Kansas City. I think they're going to feel like they can be competitive in those games. So I do think they might say, maybe it's not worth like burning someone we might want tomorrow. And, that could, like, it very well could turn a 4-3 game into a 8-3 game late in the, especially if they're behind, because that's when they would like be less inclined to use. If it's tied, it's a different story. But if they're even behind by a run or two, they're going to save the good guys for a home game tomorrow against the Royals that they feel like they can win. So and Jack kind of like Jack Falk facetiously says the White Sox need to save those elite bullpen arms. That's kind of the point. They really don't have elite bullpen arms, right? So they got to save the bullpen arms that they think could be competitive tomorrow. And then when you get to the back end of that White Sox bullpen, not great. Probably a crooked number in there for the Tigers. So
the biggest difference in MLB between regular season and playoff is regular season. They don't throw games, but they do give up and throw the white towel in pretty early sometimes for the sake of a long season, a marathon season. Whereas in the playoffs, it's everyone's in for every inning for every game. So that's the biggest difference in regular season and playoffs that you don't really see in other sports that much.
And I want to actually point something out. So Sean says Tigers are minus 250 this morning. I'm seeing this as low as like minus 200 some places, minus 205. I do think that the White Sox have taken some money the last couple of days. And so that same crowd might be coming back to try to take a little plus money there. If minus 200 on the Tigers actually makes that's not that bad. Again, I'm not going to play that straight, but I don't hate like you trying to take that and maybe pair it with another favorite. So that's where I'll leave that one. I kind of lean Tigers here as well, but not a strong lean for me. All right, let's continue on. John Wilkinson, thank you for tuning in. I think that's the first time I've seen your name in the chat. So let's get to your game, the Braves. This is another early game. I think someone in the chat yesterday brought up Brandon Pfaadt and that the fact that we kind of foreshadowed him getting pummeled in one of his recent starts.
Bryan certainly did.
Yeah, he did. Actually, Bryan Leonard kind of brought that up, I would say maybe a couple weeks in a row. And I think he was good. He was okay against the Dodgers. I remember talking about it against the Dodgers. But yeah, last time out, I don't think Pfaadt recorded an out. I believe 8 runs on 6 hits without recording an out against the Nationals. Brandon, I'm confident in saying he won't be worse. I think that's I'm confident in saying he won't be worse. But do you want any part of the Diamondbacks and Pfaadt on the road against the Braves here?
So this is one of those games where, to be honest, there's not a lot that I like today. Like I look over the card, the whole slate of the day, and I write down what I like. And so far, just jotted my notes. I wrote down Burke walks, Leader walks, and Cameron over 17.5. So if I find those plays, it's good. I found Burke walks 2.5, so it's too high, I think, but I still might play it. Anyways, sorry, off on a tangent, but I just want to give you guys some insight, maybe some information that'll help you win some money because it's us against the books. We're all on the same team. So this game is kind of a gridlock game for me. I see the Diamondbacks are hitting better. A lot better, actually. I have the Diamondbacks ranked 9 while I have the Atlanta ranked 22 currently. But the Diamondbacks bullpen, they've been awful from day one. I mean, my rankings are very fluid. They go very up and down. I don't think the Diamondbacks have been ranked over 21 out of 30 all season long. So they're just unreliable. Could not take the Diamondbacks on a side in a full game side under any circumstance, even if they're playing the White Sox or maybe the Rockies. So, and then starting pitcher, Pfaadt has been awful. Grant Holmes, I have him, my numbers like him more than I like him on a curve of 30. I have Grant Holmes 9, so I don't think he's that good though. So over would be the only way I would go here, but I think the over was 10. Was it 9.5 or 10? I'm sorry, I don't have it up. So if I'm misinforming, I apologize.
1 second.
Yeah, it's either 9 or 10. If it's 9, I might.
It's 9. It's 9.
Okay. 9's not a bad number to play in this, I think, because one really good lineup, 2 bullpens that are underperforming, and 2 starting pitchers that are not really reliable, in my opinion. So, yeah, I might go over here. I haven't put it out though.
I disagree with Holmes not being reliable. I think Holmes is. So here's the deal with Grant Holmes. He was an elite reliever. I didn't care for him as much as a starter toward the beginning of the season. but he also is starting to grow into that role. So you got to remember, when they kind of put him into the starting rotation, he was figuring out how to be in the starting rotation. He was better out of the bullpen. He did start some games at AAA, but he wasn't like a starter by trade for them. Suddenly, he's starting to build up that arm strength. Last 4 starts, 6 1/3, 1 run, 6 innings, 2 runs, 7 innings, 1 run, 5 2/3, 3 runs. Like he's really improving in getting through the order that third time. So I definitely think that there's some upside to him. TB, I don't love, like, when a guy just gets absolutely bombed like Fott did last time out, like, they almost always bounce back a little bit. So it's like, that's one thing to me. Like, do I want to bet against a guy that just got absolutely obliterated, right? Because, like, I don't know. I feel like he probably ends up, he's not going to get crushed like that again. At least I doubt it. Especially, you look at Fott, like the numbers suggested that might happen at some point, but he's been pretty consistently good for his career. So now you make a great point about Arizona's bullpen. And I caught the end of this game last night. It was not, I was very, very tuned into the Orioles. So I wasn't really watching this game that closely. But they let Justin Martinez go 37 pitches last night, which is mind-boggling considering he's been on the IL twice, and he's kind of your best reliever. So going back to your point, Justin Martinez not available here, throwing nearly 40 pitches. You may get your runs at the end of this game. Like you might get your runs late here. I'm not totally disagreeing with you that this could get to 9. And actually, 9 flat actually makes some sense. I think my numbers have this closer to 9.5, so not a ton of value, but it does feel like there's ways, like paths to scoring for both teams. I lean the Braves, but this price is not appealing to me. Minus 155 is not real appealing to me from a money line value standpoint. So tough game. I can't disagree with you on the over, though. I do think at some point there's runs in this game.
I would also say, hey, Atlanta team total. If they were hitting well, I would like their team total because they're playing a poor bullpen and a pitcher who can see. The thing about Fott, though, man, he can have a good game sometimes, and then he can come out and give up 9 runs. So I just don't know which one we're gonna get.
Here's the thing. Like, I think a good game here for Fott would be like 5 2/3, giving up like maybe 6 innings, giving up like 3 or 4 runs. That I don't think he's having a better game than that, because even if you go back to like before he got hit up pretty good, it's basically what it was every time out. 5-6 innings, he was still giving up 3 or 4. If you think you can get at least 1 or 2 from the Diamondbacks bullpen, then it really comes down to what Arizona can do against Holmes. And I don't think it's impossible to think Arizona put some runs up off Holmes. I just wanted to point out, like, I think he's definitely growing into this starter's role. If this was 4 weeks ago, I'd say, oh, yeah, no brainer. Like, they're definitely going to get to Holmes. They'll probably have him out after the 5th inning. And the Braves bullpen's kind of been horrible, right? Like, the Braves bullpen hasn't been very good at all over the last, like, month and a half. So I kind of agree. I would say over 9 might be the only way to go in this game. I don't really want to lay minus 155 with the Braves, even though there's a slight edge maybe on the Braves side. So
agree, because they're not hitting well right now. Right. Yeah. They have the potential to, but they're not.
But absolutely could break out against I mean, if Fott looks anything like he did last time out, that was I mean, that was just that. Like,
it's so funny in baseball because there's such a flow to the game, and sometimes you can read the flow. Like, teams can just be cold, and boom. Like Milwaukee Brewers, man, they were cold, and then boom, now they're just on fire. The Rays at the beginning of the season, cold. Right now, they're 3rd in MLB in run production. So, yeah.
And I think it's worth also pointing out that, like, those are 2 teams, Braves, Diamondbacks, where it doesn't like take them long to warm up. Like, they could either of those teams could put up 8 runs today. No one's surprised. Like, that's the potency of those lineups when they're clicking. Really, like, they can score a touchdown, no problem. So, Interesting game. Not one I'm going to have a play in. Morning Hardballers, morning Roger Long. Appreciate you guys jumping in to the chat. We appreciate all the questions. We also appreciate the likes and subscribes. So get on in there, smash that like button.
If we can get this show to be the most watched Wager Talk show, man, it would be so cool. So guys, help us out. All we need is your views, your likes, and your comments, man. That's all we need. After the show's off, leave a comment on the replay. That would be really great. Love it.
I will. People have asked for a weekend show. I would be, if we'll think about it. I don't want to commit to anything with Bryan Leonard not here, but I think if we could get to some sort of like number of likes or something like that, we'll think of a number. I definitely do a weekend show.
I could do it too. I mean, because this time, I know it's very early on the East Coast, but in Japan it's only 10 p.m. So this is a good time for me. So I'm 55. What else am I gonna do?
Oh my listen, I gotta pull this comment up. Always love when I'm getting credit. My guy Roger Long, Trig, I gave you credit on another podcast for the A's. 4 players down, 4 worse ones up, pummeled from that point on. I don't know what the deal is here. I didn't agree with any of the roster moves. I felt like they were knee-jerk reaction type moves. And this is we kind of foreshadowed this a couple weeks ago on this show. Like so I'll go back. I can tell you the exact day where we had this conversation on this show. It was the A's series against the Angels. So think about how long ago that was at this point. The A's were like a $1.55 favorite in like every game in that series. They got swept. And I was like, listen, this is a young team that looks like they have lost their way a little bit. They don't have much direction. They don't play very good defense. There's not a ton of pitching. And now they're sort of collectively slumping. They've won 1 game since that. And I believe the current run is something like 1-21. I don't have enough time. I don't want to we will lose viewers if it takes me as long to count all these L's. It would take me like a minute. But it has been a crazy run since May 14th of losing for this A's team. Now we're in the series finale. I got to be honest. I thought they would get one in this series somewhere. I thought they would have got one in this series at home against the Twins, but they're now looking at being swept here. Today it's going to be, is it David Festa? Who do you have as the starter for this team?
Festa.
All right, so we've got Festa, and it looks like Mitch Spence for the A's. Man, I don't know. I was as high on the A's as anyone, but I just don't know if I have any interest in this. I just don't know if I can do it. That being said, I do think the Twins are starting to they're probably a fade in this spot at this price, but I just don't know if I have any interest in doing that. So what are your thoughts here, Twins A's?
So unfortunately, for my numbers to work, the pitchers have to have a certain amount of innings in the last 30 days, and neither one of these pitchers qualify. So my pitcher ranks are blank. So we have to go on past experience or past, scouting reports on these guys, which I'm not really in the mood to do because it's the Athletics and I really don't want to do this game. So what I'm going to do is tell you my rankings for the batting and the bullpen, and you guys can make a judgment if you know more about these pitchers than I do. So batting, I have the A's actually batting better than the Astros right now. So my rankings, if you're not familiar, I take into a strong weight on current form. This doesn't mean the Athletics are the 20th ranked MLB team in hitting. It means right now they're ranked 20 in MLB. They could break out of that any day. My rankings change every day. But right now I have the Astros ranked 20, where I have the Athletics ranked 16 in hitting. That includes run production, expected ERA, WOBA, a bunch of different stats, and they're weighted. And so it's a big taco of stats. Bullpen, both bullpens, or shall I say neither bullpen, is performing rather well right now. I have them both ranked right around 20 in current form. That doesn't mean they're not talented. It means right now I have them ranked about that. So poor hitting and poor bullpens usually means a stalemate. It could go either way. So it will depend on the starting pitching. My impression, Festa, I think, is a pretty good pitcher, but I don't have enough data to analyze, and I don't think Spence is a good pitcher. So I would lean Astros here because everything else is equal except starting pitching. But I'm not going to play. It's too many unknowns for me. You know more about, their minor league numbers and all that stuff. So why don't you give the people some info?
Yeah, so I'm also on Twitter, and I'm seeing that it could be Bailey Ober. I don't think the Twins have
I
officially
love Bailey
announced.
Ober.
I don't think the Twins have officially announced a pitcher yet. So
Okay.
it's possible it's Ober. I'm just kind of like scanning websites quick. I saw one score the score, like the Yahoo score app and stuff is not always accurate. So I saw Festa listed somewhere. I'm looking on DraftKings. I don't think the Twins have officially announced a starter yet.
If it's Ober, give it to me. I love Ober.
I will say this. Ober gives the Twins a much bigger edge than Festa does. Like, Festa's a guy that, like, he could get into trouble. My criticism with him since he's gotten in the league is he'll kind of be cruising along, and then suddenly he starts to nibble a little bit. Maybe he'll walk a guy, and then when he gets guys on base, he'll throw one right over the middle of the plate, and it's a 2-run double. Like that's been like what's derailed him. That I could see happening. Like the A's are not totally incompetent at the plate. Ober, in my opinion, would be a far tougher ask for the A's here. So if it is him, I could only lean Twins, and maybe that's what you pair with the Tigers, because you're probably like Ober with the Twins, and then Tigers. That money line parlay is probably even money, probably like plus 105.
Their bullpen is trash right now, though. So
who's this?
Astros.
Minnesota's?
I'm sorry. I'm thinking Astros. Sorry. No, okay. Minnesota's is good. Yeah, my fault. I had the Astros up.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry.
Minnesota doesn't have like elite bullpen depth, but they haven't played a close game in a while. So even though they're winning games in this series, it's not like they've needed, the big boys to go out and just, close down like close games. I'm just going to pull this up quick. I don't think the scores of this series 10-4, 10-3, 6-1. So even though Minnesota's winning, they're not using their top bullpen arms. If it's Bailey Ober, I'll be really surprised if Minnesota
Steve
loses.
Duke, you are correct. Twins are hitting. My analysis earlier, I had the Astros up and said, I told you, man, I'm losing sleep. I need to get some sleep.
Hey.
Twins, I have them ranked 6th in hitting, and I have their bullpen ranked 5th. So, yeah, Twins are definitely solid. And if Ober is the pitcher today, Katie bar the door, I'm all over that. But it's probably going to be minus 180 or something.
Yeah, first of all, I commend you for doing this show at the time you do it. I don't know that I could like consistently do a show at like 11 p.m. And does the Major League Baseball, like, does that totally derail? Like, if there's day games, are you like up in the middle of the night watching a day game?
I wouldn't. Yeah, they start at like 2 a.m. on the day, early day games. No, I'm not going to wake up at 2 a.m. to watch baseball. But I will put like a earbud in and listen while I'm laying there sometimes. Yeah. But the
daytime KBO games, TB, the daytime KBO games that are like 1 a.m. here always destroy my sleep because sometimes I'll be up to like 4 a.m.
Yes, so it's similar to that. No, it's similar to that. But yeah, doing this show is not so bad because it's 10 p.m. But doing WagerTalk today, which I have later after this, that's around 1 a.m. my time. So that's a little rough. But it's all for the love, I mean, baseball season, I only do baseball. I don't do football, and I don't do basketball. So this is my time. At WagerTalk in between October and April, you won't see me at all. I will be hibernating. So yeah. So it's all out of love. Baseball is the best sport. Baseball kicks football's ass. Football is lame. Baseball is the sport. So time to shine. So yes, sorry, I did. You are absolutely correct in the comments. Who said that? You're confusing Gusto for Festa. You're absolutely right. But Gusto is Me Gusta Cerveza, and Festa is Festivus for the rest of us. So I should remember that. Do you like Seinfeld, Adam? You're a New York guy.
You know what's funny? I didn't really watch it when it was on. I was probably like just a little like too young to really be into it when it was on the first time. I then never watched it as like, I didn't really start watching Seinfeld until like 5 years ago. And then my fiance and I like watched all of them. So I remember some of them from being a kid because I was born 1986. So last episode, I was probably like
geez.
10, 11. Like I remember some of the episodes when they happened, but I like wasn't into it as like a 11, 12-year-old. So then I went all my life where I didn't understand a single reference because I never watched it. And then like 4 years ago, like we're pretty much during the pandemic, we had nothing to do. We basically watched every Seinfeld episode. I don't consider myself a huge fan, but at least I feel like I know what's going on now. So
best show ever. I've never seen a show take 3 storylines and mix them together and intertwine them at the end like that. It's amazing show. Anyways, okay, right. We're off track.
we are that's right. It's a Thursday show. There's fewer games. Yeah. We have a little bit more room to go off the rails.
Man,
we don't have Bryan Leonard
right now. I'm a zombie.
We don't have Bryan Leonard here keeping us in line, but we are going to get back to the baseball. We're going to talk 2 games right now. We'll talk them together. We have a doubleheader today, and so as always, I'll set it up for UTB. I know you're not going to fire in game 2 of a doubleheader before you really know what's going on. I don't either, but I do think you can have a pretty good plan of what you want to do in the doubleheader going in. So I'll throw it to you because I know you like a guy pitching today in one of these 2 games. Royals Cardinals. Yep. How are you attacking this one?
Yeah, and actually, you're right. Betting a game 2 of a doubleheader is usually not a good idea, but today might because we got very known quantities at pitcher. It's Ragans and who's going against Ragans, Liberatore, and those are 2 guys I really actually like. Game 1, I love Cameron. I think he's great. Guys, in the chat, I've been begging you to tell me, can you find Cameron's out prop anywhere? I did not see it on DraftKings, but if
I'll
you
look.
find
I'll
it,
look while you break it down. I'll see if I can find it.
If Cameron's outs prop is 17.5, I might even make it a 5% play. I'm dying to put that out, but I can't find it anywhere. Like I said, I make notes. Lucas, Sopranos, great show as well. I love the Sopranos. I love mob movies. Donnie Brasco and Goodfellas. I love those so bad. Godfather, all that stuff. Anyways, off track. So the first game here, we got Cameron versus Mikolas, and I was kind of shocked that the Royals are underdog here because the Royals are hitting better. The Royals bullpen is performing better, and they have the better starting pitcher. I haven't taken it yet, but I'm really tempted. But I wanted to do this show first and bounce it off, read, because our chat is very knowledgeable. They do put some good information out. So I read what you guys say and I kind of soak that in. And then I listen to what Adam says and soak that in because it's us against the book. We're all on the same team. I like the Royals, actually. I have the Royals ranked pretty fairly well, 13 in hitting. I have the Cardinals 23. Bullpen, I have the Royals 13. I have the Cardinals 28. Starting pitcher Cameron, I got him 7.5. And I got Mikolas 17. So, and that's on a curve of 30. So Mikolas below average, Cameron very high. Although Cameron only has 3 starts, he's gone over. He's pitched into the, does he have 3 or 4 starts? Anyway, he's pitched into the 7th inning every start. And he's shown elite stuff. He passes the eye test. He passes the numbers test. The thing is the sample size big enough? That's the only question. But what I've seen so far is elite. He's good. We'll see. But I really want his outs prop bad. But I can't find it.
I just scanned like every legal book here in New York State, and I do not see an outs prop yet. So it doesn't look like it's up. But that being said, I mean, it should. I don't bet those a ton. I feel like it should be up at some point. So do you have like a target number? What was the target you were looking for?
For what? The outs prop? 17.5. Yeah, 17.5. Because he's almost guaranteed to go 6 innings. And nothing's guaranteed in sports betting, but I agree his sample size is small, but 3 or 4 starts going 6 innings against decent competition to me tells me that number one, the manager's willing to leave him in for 100 pitches, and number 2, he's an Iron Man. Granted, the sample size is small, but if I can get 17.5 over, I definitely would love to take it. I did not see it on DraftKings, so I do not put it out. I'm in Japan, so the books I can see are limited, and most of our clientele are in the US, so I use US books to get my numbers and put my plays out, especially props. So if I saw a Cameron over 17.5, I would love to jump on it, but I haven't seen it yet. So, but the Royals, why are the Royals underdogs here, Adam? Tell me.
I'm asking the same thing myself, Tokyo Brandon. I make the Royals a favorite. I have been a big Noah Cameron guy since last year. You talk about small sample. He's gone deep at the minor. In the minors, he's gone deep. Like now, you got to remember in AAA, they don't always let you. It's less likely you're going to see a guy go like 7 innings. It's if they're being super economical, they will. But you see a lot of like. Usually 5th, 6th inning is the sweet spot to get a guy out at the AAA level. Unless they're just cruising, their pitch count is low, then they'll let them go a little bit further. I mean, the vast majority of Noah Cameron's AAA starts going back to last year were like 5, 6 innings, which is very good. That typically that's very good for like if you're consistently going 6 at AAA, that's pretty impressive because they don't. A lot of times they don't. They'll just like they'll either kind of keep an eye on the pitch count, or they say, all right, we're just going to let you go twice through the order and then we'll go to someone else. So he's always gone deep into games. That was my biggest thing in my notebook, like last year into this year, as I like make notes on the pitchers coming up. I feel like he's a bulldog type mentality guy. He's out there battling. Like he doesn't seem to get fazed by guys on base. That's all the stuff you want to see from a pitcher that now you're like, do I trust this guy at the big league level? He checks all those boxes, in my opinion. Do I think he's better than Miles? Yeah, so far, right. But
the only question is, the sample size. That's the only question because he passes the eye test. He looks elite to me.
Yeah, and the thing is, like I said, we're talking about a small sample size at the big league level, but he's done all of this for like 2 years, and I think when you do that consistently at AAA for that long of a time. And you have the upside that he has, usually it like translates, right? Like it typically, the guys I look for that don't, it's like they got crushed at AAA. They had like a good month. Now they're in the big leagues. I look at that and I'm like, that might not work out. I think this guy's going to be like a big league starter for a long time. That's at least how I look at him. I have him rated higher than Michaelis. So I will, and I love Cole Reagans. I've said it from day one.
I do too.
I'm a big Cole.
I like Libertor. I like Libertor. Yeah, I got him ranked pretty high.
I think I'm going to end up playing the Royals today at some point. So, like, this is what I talk about going in with a plan, right? I'm not going to like come out and say I'm going to bet the Royals in game 2 because I don't know. Did they use 3 of their best relievers to get home a win in game 1? We don't know. What I do think, though, so the way I look at this right now, the Royals are an underdog in both games, right? Like, so if you were to look right now, game 1, they're like plus 110, plus 115. Game 2, they're like plus 105, maybe even money. I don't think the Cardinals are going to sweep this doubleheader because I don't think they're going to blow them out in any game. So, like, let's say the Cardinals do win game 1. My guess is that they're going to have to win like a tighter game. And then if they win a tighter game, they use their bullpen arms. The Royals don't use their bullpen arms. If you can have the best bullpen arms behind Cole Reagans in game 2, like that's very appealing. But also just going back to like the first game, I'm with you. I have I have Cameron and the Royals favored over Michaelis and the Cardinals. So maybe you just go with the plus money in game 1. If it doesn't work out, come right back with the Royals in game 2. Go ahead.
My parlay leg. Maybe you guys are going to think I'm cheating or being a little chicken shit here, but I'm going to take the Royals plus 1.5 at minus 187. It's a parlay, so let me do bad odds here. Okay.
No, I don't.
Royals.
I don't disagree with that at all.
On Pinnacle, it's minus 187, and I don't have the other books open right now, but it's probably 185 on DraftKings, maybe, or maybe 190. I'm not sure, but it's going to be between. But that's going to be my leg here. I'm sorry, I'm chickening out, and I'm going to take really bad odds. But I need it because I'm wearing the poo hat from yesterday. So
it's a parlay. So we don't care about like laying some juice because we know the bet itself is going to be plus money. So that's totally fine. We're trying to hit one of these. And when you take the road team plus 1.5, you're really increasing your chances to hit like
exactly
usually more than I feel like what's priced in a lot of cases because you're basically forcing a home team to beat you in 8 at-bats, right? If the game is tied or the Cardinals are trailing going to the 9th inning, you're feeling pretty good about having a plus 1.5. So
that's my leg. Yeah, that's my leg.
I very much sign off on that. I think that's a solid way to look at that first game.
The
Royals.
While you were talking, I thought you were going to. Game 1. While you were talking, I thought you were going to steal that game from me, so I jumped in and took it.
I'm glad you took it because I considered just throwing Royals money line. I considered
-190 at MGM. Thank you, G Hurt. -190, we'll say.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I don't know that I'll definitely make that bet of Royals in game 1, although it is the way I lean, and I'm obviously going to root this parlay, rooting for it for the parlay. If this plays out, let's say the Cardinals, let's say that plus 1.5 comes into play. The Cardinals win a game where they use a couple of their best relievers and they grind out like a 4-3 win. I can just about guarantee I'll fire on Reagan's in game 2 because he's for my pitching power ratings since the beginning of the season. He's been well up that list, and of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the Royals recently calling up Jock Caglione, who will be an impact player for them. I know people are like, "Oh, he hasn't been in the minors that long, small sample." Listen, the Royals just threw away a year of arbitration and control of that player, calling him up when they did. That tells me that not only do they believe that he can make an impact right now, that they believe in him long term, that they probably said, you know what, we have every intention of locking this guy up, so it's not even going to be a thing, right? Because if they waited 2 more weeks, they could have saved a year of service time. So that speaks volumes to what they think of this guy and the fact that they're saying we're in the mix right now. We really truly believe he can help us win right now. I think that bumps the Royals as well in your power rating.
Check that comment out. I totally agree with this. So this is one thing you can do in a doubleheader. In game 1, if a pitcher's getting lit up, they'll leave him in. They will leave him in.
Right, because
it's a good comment by Ryan there. Yeah.
And you know what? To take that a step further, TB, Mikolas is a veteran. They will 100% leave a veteran guy in to just take one on the chin for a team. They might not leave. Now, other way around, I don't think the Royals are going to leave. The Royals are not going to leave Noah Cameron in because they could destroy his confidence. Mikolas has been around forever, right? Like
Correct. Mikolas played in Japan. He was bad in Japan. Now he's bad in the majors.
Mikolas played in Japan like a decade ago. Like it's literally been like over 10 years.
He was terrible.
But you know what? To his credit, he came back from Japan and he's made a pretty nice career for himself. Like the fact that he's been in the league this long and he's still pretty effective is impressive. But I agree. If he doesn't have it, they're going to pitching coach is going to go out and say, "Can you give us 100 pitches? We'll take them."
Yep. No, you're totally right. And Ryan, props to Ryan. That was a great comment because these are things that professional cappers look at. Game 1 of a doubleheader, you can bet that the bullpen's not going to be used very much, even if the pitcher gets lit up. So yeah, it's a good comment. Okay, we should probably change games here.
We'll change games, but no, I mean this is I mean we basically just broke down 2 games in one right there. And I think that was an important conversation because I do think there's probably a play on the Royals somewhere in that game. And it might be a client play for me. So I wanted to go a little bit longer on that. And I know you like Cameron. So TB just basically gave you an over outs prop if you listened. What did you say? 17.5? If you can find it.
Yeah, if you can find it. I can't find it. So.
All right, let's move on. Anthony Thornhill. Do the Phillies bounce back tonight? That was a great game last night. Mick Abel was awesome. The Blue Jays tied it up, and then Alejandro Kirk walks it off late. Pretty competitive series so far. Phillies took the game the previous day. I think ended up winning 8-3, and we've got another good one tonight. Luzardo and Chris Bassett, 2 guys you like, TB. So you have the floor. Phillies, Blue Jays, 2 of your guys facing off in Toronto tonight. What do we see here?
I've loved Luzardo since he came from Miami. These guys are human beings. I've been around them. They love now that they have a shot at the playoffs. It really energizes them. It's like an enema. I used that word yesterday, and everyone thought it was funny, but it is like an enema because they get a jolt, and they're like, "Hey, man, we can make the playoffs, and I can contribute. I can pitch in the playoffs for the first time in my career." So I think that's what Luzardo is feeling here. You know what's crazy is I ran my numbers here, and it's the opposite of what I thought before I ran my numbers. I got the Blue Jays dominating almost every category against Philadelphia, and I don't know why. It's one of those. It's just like the last game we did. Why are the Royals underdog? If I covered the team logos and team names, and the starting pitcher names, and I just looked at my numbers, I'd be all over Toronto. The thing is, Toronto, they're so. They're the team that just lets bettors down all the time. They're very inconsistent. They lose when they're supposed to win. They win when they're supposed to lose. They're just a team that's really hard to bet. But I have them dominating every category. I have them ranked 4 in MLB in hitting, where I have the Phillies ranked 18. I have the Toronto Blue Jays bullpen ranked 7, and I have Phillies bullpen ranked 27. I mean, total domination. I even have Bassett ranked 1 rank over Luzardo. So I got overall ranking. I got the Blue Jays ranked 9, where I got the Phillies ranked 20. But I'm not going to bet the Blue Jays because they're the heartbreakers of Major League Baseball. Any baseball fan in Toronto will tell you that they're heartbreak city. So I'm not going to bet it, but my numbers love the Blue Jays.
Yeah, mine do too, to an extent, like overall. I've definitely bumped the Blue Jays, I would say, considerably in my power ratings since earlier in the year. My gut tells me the Phillies bounce back. That's the thing. Like, my gut says Luzardo outpitches Bassett. You know, that the Blue Jays didn't use a ton of bullpen last night. I think Hoffman only threw 7 pitches.
My gut says the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those where I kind of am trying to envision this game, and I feel like I see a Phillies win, but my numbers have really liked Toronto for, like, I would say maybe like the last 5-6 weeks, where every time they come up, I go to like maybe bet against them, and I'm just like, okay, like that kid, they're up there in my power ratings based on their numbers. I think TB, some of it has to do with the fact they're getting really good starting pitching from like these veteran pitchers that I don't really care to bet against, right? Like, like these Barrios, Bassett, Gossman, like they're getting good starting pitching from their veteran guys. Their bullpen is significantly better than it was last year. Like, they've pretty much figured out at the end of that bullpen, Yimi Garcia, Hoffman, they've got guys they can mix and match with. And then the offense has started to come around from where it was like first couple weeks of the season. So the Blue Jays are a good team. I just think if you force me to bet this game, I'm probably on Luzardo just because I think he outpitches Bassett. But
can I add a little comment here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Regarding outs props, last year, Bassett was one of my sweethearts, man. I would bet him over 17.5. He would finish 6 innings over and over and over. He was such an Iron Man, like Lorenzen actually was too. But this season, I have he's 17.5 again today, but I have Chris Bassett at 16.2 outs. So I have him under 17.5, whereas last season it was totally different. So I don't know if he's getting old, but he's not going as deep into games. A lot of this depends on the manager's decision. It depends on fatigue. They're getting old, whatnot. But Bassett is not the Iron Man he used to be, and he's not going 6 innings regularly anymore. And just for your guys' information, Luzardo, his out prop is 17.5 as well. I have him at 17.4. So right on 17.5. So I'm not going to bet that. Just for your information. We have extra time. I'm throwing my numbers out.
All right, TB. Your boy has to pat himself on the back real quick here because I came on yesterday and I said the Nationals are going to really struggle against left-handed pitching with the way that their lineup is set up now. And Matt Boyd had a perfect game going into like the 6th or 7th inning last night. However, the Nats ended up winning that game 2-0 because Mackenzie Gore pitched great. But it was a dead under. So whoever our friend was in the chat that went to the game, I hope you took that under 9 because that was as easy as it gets right there. We're back today. Now, interesting the way this is going to work out, because we have a listed lefty starter for the Cubs. However, that listed lefty starter is Drew Pomeranz, who is very much likely an opener, right? I don't think we're going to see him for more than an inning. So last time Pomeranz pitched, it was Ben Brown behind him. I'm assuming that they're going to go the same way today. And you've got Jake Irvin for the Nationals, who's been tremendous. So interesting one here, because if it is Brown, that makes me like the Nats a lot more, right? Up against a right-handed pitcher. But I don't know. I don't know that we know for sure that the Cubs are going to do that. And if they sort of stack lefties, maybe the Nats have a tough time. We know they're going to have a tough time with Pomeranz in the first inning, because Pomeranz has been borderline unhittable, and he's probably going to wipe out the first three guys that they face. So I don't know. Talk to me about Nats Cubs. How are you trying to approach this one?
So I always talk about Iron Man with the outs props, and Jake Irvin is the Iron Man. He's the Bassett this year. He's been going into the seventh inning consistently. And I would love to bet his over 17.5, which means he'll finish 6 innings in this game. But the problem is he's going against the Cubs, and the Cubs have a deadly lineup. I'm projecting Jake Irvin at 18.2 outs. So I would normally take the over 17.5, but against the Cubs, and if you look at his career numbers against the Cubs, they smash him. So I like him as an Iron Man, but not today. That would be the only way I would go in this one, because I don't really know why do teams put a guy in for 1 inning and then put the starter in. I really don't understand. And I used to be in this industry. I still don't understand why they do that. Are they giving him a rest or something? I really don't get it. I'm not going to play this game though, because Washington's hitting better than the Cubs. And I really don't know the Cubs pitching situation today. So I'm going to stay off this one.
So I just want to check one other thing, and I will explain why they do that. So basically, a few years back, I think the Rays started to do this.
Rays did it.
Other teams started to copy them. The thought process is, if we know that we can get Drew Pomeranz, who's going to wipe out left-handed hitters, right? If we know like he matches up well with the first 3 hitters in the order, then rather than hope that the scenario arises later in the game to get that matchup, we'll take it at the beginning, meaning we want him against this hitter, and this hitter. So we'll just take it right off the bat. Hopefully he goes out, wipe out quick 1, 2, 3 inning, and then maybe our starter is going to be in for an extra inning. Now, sure. Here's what I think. I think it's anyone the Cubs are going to use in bulk here. I got to imagine it's either Brown or Rhea. I'm trying to figure that out as we speak, because I think that's who's up in it would be their turn. Let's see. I'm just trying to real quick figure it out while we're on the show. I think I think Colin Rhea might be the bulk guy today. Okay.
Someone's saying Rhea. Yeah.
So here's the deal. I'm going to take Nats plus 1.5. That's going to be my leg of the parlay. So reason I like this is because I'm really not concerned with what happens here in the first inning. Okay. Like if the Nats go down 1, 2, 3, no big deal. It's 1 inning. We know Drew Pomeranz is not pitching more than 1 inning. He hasn't pitched more than 1 inning in any of his appearances yet this year. The only way he comes back out for the second is if he has like an 8-pitch inning and he's got another lefty up. So we can pretty much count on he's in there to go try to get their first 3 hitters out, and then he's done. I think this Nats lineup lights up a guy like Colin Rhea, because it goes back to what I was saying. They are so built to hammer right-handed pitching. Go look at, like we talked about, Brandon Pfaadt, right? Similar caliber pitcher, crushed him. Earlier over the weekend, I mean, they were hammering I think they killed George Kirby in that Mariners series. They've been lighting up right-handed pitching ever since Dalen Lyle.
8 on Kirby, yeah. They killed him.
Ever since Dalen Lyle and Robert Hassel have been called up to where the Nats have the ability to go 1 through 9, all left-handed batters, this is going to be a lineup that is deadly against right-handed pitching.
I see that.
James Wood is just mashing right-handed pitching.
Yes, he is.
And you got Abrams. I mean, 1 through 9, They
Abrams
should tear up
Abrams stealing Wood, knocking him in, and man, I like I said, I got the Nationals ranked 7 in hitting in all of Major League Baseball. Cubs rank 11. The Nationals bullpen is horrible. The Cubs bullpen's pretty good. That would keep me off an over here, but man, both of these lineups can really explode.
I'm glad you brought up the Nationals bullpen being bad, because on paper, on the whole, it is not a very good bullpen. That being said, they have a couple leverage guys. Like if they know they're only going to have to use a guy like a Lopez or maybe like a Finnegan, right? Like maybe Brad Lord. If you can stick to those Farrer's okay. If you can stick to those like 4 guys, the bullpen's actually not terrible. Mackenzie Gore went 7 innings last night. So Lord threw 18 pitches and Finnegan threw 18 pitches. That's all the bullpen that they used. And you even said like Irvin's a guy that like will go 6 or 7 innings. I mean, he's going to give you 6 or 7 good innings unless he's getting crushed. And he's had a great season. I don't think he gets crushed. So I'm going to make my parlay leg. So we've got a nice little +1.5 parlay right here for today. I'm going Nationals +1.5. It's only -125. I think they're going to be in a great setup to win this game. But again, like I do think the Cubs find a way to win close games as well. And that covers against maybe like, let's say Irvin has a good start. Bullpen chokes it late. It's probably going to land 1. So that'll be my play. So the parlay is locked in. And it's good. It's nice and spaced out. Sure. We've got a day game for Tokyo Brandon. Royals +1.5 in game 1 of their doubleheader. My parlay leg will be Nationals +1.5 against the Cubs. I think that right-handed pitcher Reyes is going to come in, and I think this Nats lineup is going to do what they've been doing against right-handed pitching, which is just mash the crap out of it. So
now that there's only 2 legs, it's a lot of pressure now.
I know.
I know. When we first started doing this, I was the guy that was winning every day, and one of you guys was losing a leg. I didn't feel a lot of blame at the beginning, but now I kind of feel a little pressure here.
Hey, listen, I'll die on this hill. I knew this was gonna happen. We came out so hot. We hit like 4 of the first 7.
4.
We were always gonna have a stretch. I mean, these are 2-3 team parlays. It's tough to hit.
Yep.
We're still up like 9 units. Like we're still ahead. So until we're behind, I don't want to hear it. But at the same time, I know my guy Chad in there is like, what we need to, I don't want to hear any excuses. We need a winner. I think today's is a winner, TB. I thought yesterday's was a winner too, but I think today's is a winner. And we're gonna get it going today. I feel really good about the Nats. That might be a client play for me. I haven't decided yet. I wanna think about that when I get off air, but I think that sets up really nicely for them.
I think we got one.
Let's see if we can get one more in here. We got to talk Mets Dodgers. It's a big game, big series. A couple people have asked about it. So let's finish up with Mets Dodgers. David Peterson, Landon Knack. Someone asked about the over. I think there's probably runs in this game. This looks like a game that could be some fireworks here. I've kind of been waiting for like the game in this series that's like 9-7 or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I feel like both offenses are capable of it. We've talked about the shortcomings of the Dodgers pitching staff. The Mets have a guy in Peterson here that's definitely someone that the Dodgers can handle. And you look at this series thus far, I mean, 6-5, I guess that was a high scoring game. But the other games, 3-4, 6-1. A couple days ago, the Dodgers were putting up touchdowns against the Yankees.
Yeah,
I don't know. My gut tells me this is where both teams have their outbreak, and this is an easy over. But nothing, as we know, TB, nothing's ever easy. So how do you feel about that?
You guys in the comments, you're very nice. We appreciate that. You guys are why we're here. So thanks for all the nice comments. No jackasses today. It's nice to see. Anyways,
you banned him, so he can't come back.
Yeah, if you guys didn't see yesterday's show, you might want to rewatch that one because I was in a mood yesterday. I tore into someone pretty good. But anyway, generally I'm a smiling nice guy. So Landon Knack, David Peterson. I actually have both of these pitchers ranked in the top 1/3 echelon of starting pitchers. I know Landon Knack is not a household name, and neither is David Peterson for that matter, but I actually have numbers wise, these guys are ranked pretty high. Eye test wise, not so much. I don't really trust Especially I don't trust Knack, but Peterson's not bad at all in my opinion. He can hold something down. Both bullpens, I have them performing well. They're both in the top 12, and batting, they're both in the top 10. Dodgers particularly, I have them 4, where I have the Mets at right at 10. So, good bullpen, good bats usually means a low score, but there's no way I would take an under in this game. Like you said, something's ripe to like just explode. And the Dodgers bullpen, I don't trust them at all. The numbers say they're performing well, but they certainly are not performing well from what I've seen, especially I'm drawing a blank. Who'd they get from the Padres? Kelly was his name. Why am I drawing a blank? He was supposed to be their closer.
Scott?
Yeah. Tanner Scott. He's been horrible the last 3 days. He's supposed to be their high leverage guy. Trinan, if you ask the players, they say Trinan has the best stuff on that whole pitching staff, but he's out. And so, Dodgers are in a little trouble here if Knack doesn't go deep. And I don't think Knack goes very deep. So you're probably right, Adam. This could be ripe for some runs here today because both of these teams can rake. And we made the point yesterday, all the Mets needed was a little spark from Juan Soto, and they're elite. They're an elite lineup. So Edmonds out, though. Big deal.
I mean, both of these teams, like these are the two elite. I mean, you have to have the Cubs in that conversation, but I truly believe that these are right now 1 and 2, like when they're fully sort of firing and they're at full strength. No question in my mind that number 1, number 2 in the National League are Dodgers Mets. Would not be that surprised if you're seeing an NLCS rematch this year as last year, if those are the two teams standing later in the year. As I said earlier this week when we talked about the series, I feel like the Dodgers have gotten to this point sort of like playing like 70%, right? They've had guys hurt. I don't know that they're hell bent on maxing out every game, and yet they're still like 15 games over 500. The Mets, like you made a great point. Like they haven't even scratched the surface of what the ceiling is of Juan Soto yet. And, even some of the other guys in that lineup maybe haven't hit to their full potential. I look at Knack, I look at Peterson. They're fine for what they are, but they're both up against an elite lineup here, right? Like they're both up against elite lineups. The Dodgers don't have their bullpen fully, the Mets bullpen's very good. The Dodgers bullpen's a little bit all over the place. My gut tells me one of these teams tonight is going to get close to this number on their own. Like someone's breaking out here. This is just not a 3-2 game. Cue up the 1-0 pitchers duel final. But you know what I'm saying? Like I could see like someone's putting 8 up tonight. There's going to be home runs in this game. One of these dudes is getting lit up by an elite lineup, and I think it's going to get this over the total. So pretty strong lean to the over here for me.
Yeah. I mean, how could you bet an under with these two teams? But my numbers say bet the under. There's no way I'm going to. And my numbers like Knack and Peterson both. Yeah, I don't think so.
All right, we are at the hour mark. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, the parlay for today. Tokyo Brandon's going with Royals game 1 plus 1.5. It's like minus 180. And I think it was, we'll call it minus 190. I'm going to run it and post the ticket. But just to do quick math here, I believe we've got a minus 190 and a minus 125. So no crazy odds today, which is fine. We're just looking for a winner. It's going to come out to plus 175. So we are going Royals plus 1.5 in game 1.
We're chickening out. We're chickening out because we're on a losing streak.
We're just trying to cash a ticket here. We're just trying to cash a ticket. We're going Royals plus 1.5 in game 1. Important because that's a doubleheader today. So you are going the early game with Noah Cameron on the mound against Michaelis, and I'm going Nationals plus 1.5 against the Cubs. Nice little 2-teamer plus 1.5. We got to get the juices flowing. Let's try to hit a 2-teamer so when Bryan gets back next week, we start rattling off the 3-team winners again.
Good. Thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate you. And any comments you can leave on the replay would be great. WagerTalk reads them all. Like us or hate us, let us know, because we do read them all, believe it or not. And we'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, like, subscribe. We'll you know, I will ask for that every day. I don't have anything up to promote at this point. So obviously, if you ever want the plays, you know where to get them. You know, we don't have to like do that on this show, but yeah, I will beg for the likes. The likes and subscribes are free. I will beg for those all day long, and the comments. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. to wrap up the week, and then Bryan Leonard's back on Monday. Good luck today, everyone. Hope everyone
catches it.